Hello everyone, this is Cody Lee of BlackCatBooks.org, author of I, the Dragon, Cool and Beautiful, Rabbit Hole, and King Dio. With the recent Nintendo Direct, we have confirmation that Nintendo Switch Online is getting Nintendo 64 games, and I thought it might be fun to just go over like these game releases and just explain. Let's see, Nintendo 64 Switch Online. Hang on, release date. Let's see. Nintendo Switch Online is getting classic N64 games. Let's see. Probably should have brought up this image. There we go. Yeah, I thought it would be fun to like go over all these titles and kind of talk about like my experiences with them, because like I'm kind of surprised that the initial wave of this, there are 2 games that I still do not own on Nintendo 64. One of them in particular I've been looking at for a while that I haven't really that I don't really know anything about. So at least one of these is something I'm going into with excitement. So completely fresh, no idea. The rest of them are like either 10 out of 10s or just very, very, very good. And I thought I would I wanted to talk a little bit about each of them in turn. So okay, first of all is the legendary, the iconic, the one-of-a-kind Super Mario 64, the most iconic video game, honestly, on the console. One of the most iconic 3D games ever made. Define like all these concepts that we take for granted today. 15 courses, 120 stars to collect. This is the game that kind of established Mario's signature move set, established the triple jump, the wall jump, the long jump, the wing cap. Was the first fully 3D Mario game. There are so many things to say about Mario 64. If you haven't played it already, it is an absolute must play. Go ahead and play this. This is one of the best games ever made. Holds up today. I play it through it at least once a year, and I think when it comes to Nintendo Switch Online, I will go ahead and do a 120 star run immediately. That is probably going to be one of the first things I do. 10 out of 10. Super Mario 64. Mario Kart 64. One of the best racing games on 64. It's kind of limited. It's kind of easy, but it's extremely accessible, really easy to get into, and it still does hold up. I actually went ahead and played through the entire thing again recently, all the way through the end. I got gold in every course. It's kind of easy compared to newer games, I thought, but by and large, I still really, really, really enjoy my time with it. I think it has a lot of replay value. The single player is great. The multiplayer is great. The battle mode is a lot of fun. We spent a lot of time playing this as a kid. And I'm excited that more people are going to start experiencing this game. To me, this is the game that kind of established a lot of Mario Kart concepts. This is the one that I kind of see as the definitive OG Mario Kart, because I think Super was kind of limited in its Mode 7 visuals and stuff like that. I'm not a big fan of Super. I've been getting into it more recently, but for Mario Kart 64, for the OG, that's my shit. That is not my favorite game in the series. I would say that would go to 8, but it is probably a close second. I really, really enjoy Mario Kart 64. I think it has a lot of value even today, and kids might enjoy seeing what Mario Kart was like in the 90s, right? Just experiencing it and seeing how much it's grown and changed, gameplay-wise. I think it still holds up. Probably a 9 out of 10. Great game. All-time classic. Moving on. Star Fox 64. One of my favorite games ever made. If you've seen my house, you know that I have a picture of that same cover on my wall. That's how much I love Star Fox 64. Featuring a variety of different planets to blow through, some of the best bosses in gaming, one of the greatest finales of all time. The game is a blast to play through from start to finish. I love this game more than anything. It probably wouldn't make my top 100 list. I think it's spectacular. I think it's one of the best games ever made, and honestly, probably the game that made me fall in love with video games. This is the reason that I'm a Nintendo fan today, and that's pretty special. 10 out of 10, for sure. Yoshi's Story. Again, I've played this somewhat recently, and I didn't play through all of it because I don't think it's the strongest title on this list. I would call it a 7 or an 8 out of 10. I made a Nintendo Classics video on it because I think it's really charming. It has a lot of interesting aspects. It's very, very unique, and it's in its presentation and like your objectives and like stuff like that. Like there are no exits to the level. Like you're supposed to go around eating fruit in order to like max out your belly and then move on. It's I think it was made for younger players in mind, and that kind of does that is kind of disappointing when you're older. But like playing this as a kid is a wild trip because of just how surprisingly dark it is. Like your Yoshis die when you lose all your HP. You lose them forever. That's terrifying. It's as a kid, like it was a really engaging experience, one that really made you like value the life of your character. And I don't think that experience has ever really been recaptured, even by like modern games like Dark Souls. Like it's like the game has an atmosphere that I really can't explain. I deeply do like it in spite of all of its limitations. It's nowhere near as good as Island, but like I still do enjoy it. Like 7, 8 out of 10, great game. Sin and Punishment. The Japanese game that like I don't think anybody recognized just by looking at it. Like, oh boy, one of the low-key best games ever made. Like if you're a fan of Star Fox 64, like this is the game you need to follow it up on. Like if you've done everything in Star Fox 64, play Sin and Punishment like immediately. You should have played it a long time ago, but now it's on Nintendo Switch Online. You have to play it. Like this is the main reason I think this Nintendo Switch Online is a great value, because regular gamers, people who have no idea what they're getting into, are going to be exposed to Sin and Punishment for the first time likely ever. And Sin and Punishment is just spectacular, right? Like it doesn't have the root system that like Star Fox 64 has, but it more than makes up for it for like having stellar boss design, stellar combats, great cinematics, and just killer soundtrack. And and one of the most ridiculous stories in video games. Like it is a trip. It is wild. I highly recommend it. 10 out of 10. I legit would put it up there with Star Fox 64. In fact, I would probably say like on a technical level, it's probably better. But Star Fox 64 is more accessible, and like it has the root system and like the true ending. There are things about Star Fox 64 that kind of makes up for like the fact that it's not as difficult as Sin and Punishment. But Sin and Punishment is definitely well worth your time. 10 out of 10. The all-time GOAT, The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time, the greatest game ever made, one of the finest experiences ever put on video games. This game's quality cannot be understated. Its influence is still felt today. Nobody can deny at this stage that this is one of the most influential video games ever made. Like it's pretty much universally acknowledged that this is the best thing ever. like it innovated a number of concepts such as Z targeting and like just how sword fighting should work in video games. It has a touching story, a really compelling sort of atmosphere, like relatable, like unforgettable characters. Like this is one of the definitive Zelda experiences, I think. If you're a Zelda game fan, this is absolutely a must play. Like right up there with A Link to the Past and probably Breath of the Wild at this point. This is a phenomenal game that I'm sure people will love when they get this on Nintendo Switch Online. Winback. Okay, Zelda 10 out of 10. 11 out of 10, I suppose you could say. Winback. Never played it. It's actually the game that I'm most intrigued by on this list because I don't know anything about it. I had it on my my list at some point. Like I was gonna pick it up, but like unfortunately I decided that like my N64 collecting was becoming too expensive, so I ended up like cutting it out. But I was considering picking this game up at one point, and I don't remember all that much about it, other than the fact it was a TPS, right? So we'll have to see how well it holds up, but I am very interested in seeing like what it's like. It will be one of the games I probably play first. I have been interested in playing it for a long time. Mario Tennis. The iconic Mario sports game. I think this is the first one they ever made, and then they went on to make Mario Golf and stuff like that. This kind of kickstarted the entire trend of just like put Mario in every sports ever. And I think today I still prefer the original over the new ones. I think it has like the best difficulty curve. I think it has like fun, engaging mechanics. I think it's aged pretty well. I think it's challenging. I think it offers a lot of value if you're a tennis fan. I wanted to play it as a kid, never got a chance to, only played it recently, and I really did enjoy it. I think it is a great sports game. Check it out if you're interested in that kind of thing. 8 out of 10. Dr. Mario, have not played it. Don't know this one very well. The only Dr. Mario game I played is the NES one and Dr. Luigi. So I actually have no idea how 64 stacks up, but I am interested in trying it out and seeing if it's surprisingly good. So yeah, that's my thoughts on Nintendo Switch Online. 10, I think it's 10, right? Is it 9? Oops, hang on. Yeah, 9 really good games right off the bat. 9 more games you're getting with Paper Mario and F-Zero X coming later. So I am very excited about seeing what they do with this. I'm excited about seeing like the future of Nintendo Switch Online. I'm excited about seeing these games come out, and I will be immediately upgrading my service to Nintendo Switch Pro Nintendo Switch Online Premium or whatever it is. I will be checking these games out and playing the Genesis games and really, really enjoying myself. I cannot wait to experience these games in the foreseeable future.